Hi, guys. Happy Friday. Welcome to the Design Exchange with Danny Russo and Melinda Peters Elliott.
Hey, everybody.
And I hope that your new year is going better than ours because we have been working like crazy. I cannot believe that we're already, January's almost over. We're in the middle of January. We're getting ready to
I
go to
know.
KBIS. It has
Yes,
just been crazy.
it's great. Yeah, I feel like I am redoing my whole entire business model again.
Oh,
So
same,
I
same.
think every 5 years you've got to do that because you have
Yeah,
to,
but
you
do we have
know,
how do we adjust our business model right now every 5 years if we're going to do it right now? And we hopefully won't have COVID around in 5 years, but right now
right,
this year we have to adjust to a temporary business model
right.
with
Yeah,
COVID in play. And we
yeah.
are experiencing, you've heard us talk about the shipping issues, the delays, the shortages, and
hmm
they are continuing and they are getting worse. I have a bed that I ordered for a client back in July of last year, and it's not coming in until April. And then I have
This year.
nightstands, yeah, and I have nightstands that I ordered in February of last year, and those aren't coming in until April of this year.
Wow.
That's over a year. So
Wow.
it's just been crazy, and
Yeah.
we
I
couldn't
haven't
predict this.
I haven't had that much change in like delivery times. I haven't had that much trouble like you have, but what I have experienced is like big change of staff because I had somebody who was
We both have had
my right
changes.
hand
Both of
and
us
she
have had
retired.
staffing changes. Um,
So,
yeah, that's typical. We're in the middle of what are they calling it? The Great Walkout or the Great, I don't know
Amanda, I
what it
can hear
is.
you. Shh, sorry.
We should say that we're broadcasting from Fine Designs and Interiors, 11 South Main Street in London, Ohio. Melinda's in the back of her office, and I'm in her sample room. And we're trying to get some stuff done. And we figured while we're here, we'd get this podcast recorded and just so we can have something. Because I feel like this is the one thing that's consistent in my life is trying to get these episodes out to you guys on time. Um, and I think we're doing a pretty good job. Are we being consistent, Melinda? Melinda, I don't hear you. You've gone away. Can you hear me? Melinda, it
Um,
looks like you're on
okay,
mute. Oh boy, Melinda.
sorry.
So
I've been hitting all kinds of wrong buttons today. Things are going away. I'm like, I got this new Mac and I'm not used to it.
I'm on my new
So
Mac too, and I'm surprised. I'm
yeah,
loving my Mac.
yeah,
So anyway, back to us, back to the Design Exchange. I know that a lot of you guys that are listening to this, you're interior designers. A lot of you have asked to come on the podcast and be guests, and we are going to be bringing special guests on
yep.
throughout the year, depending on me and Melinda's schedule. But we're going to separate it up where I'm going to have some of you guys on and Melinda's going to have some of you guys on. She doesn't even know about it yet, but I believe that
I'm
Melinda's,
totally fine with that.
you're going to be having Deb Daly on, and
Yes,
I'm going
I
to be
love
having
Deb.
Perry Gay Walker on, and we're going to be going to KBIS together. So we'll be doing
Yes,
a couple episodes from there as well. So that'll
yes.
be
That's
fun,
gonna KBIZ is the kitchen and bath industry show, and
along
it's
with
once a year.
IBIS, International Builder Show, and it's in
Yes,
Florida this year instead of Vegas, so
yes,
that's a good thing.
yes, yes.
I'm excited to go and see what's going on because we have plumbing fixture shortages. Blah, we'll see. We're going
No.
to see what's going on.
I have a lot of questions and looking for sources for things that I cannot find, and it's
Would
driving me
you
crazy.
do you
So,
want to make this episode about sourcing and talk to me about sourcing because I could probably answer a lot of your questions.
well, it's interesting that you bring that up because we were looking for a mirror this morning, and I think we went through 25 to 30 sources to try to find
What kind of mirror are you looking
the
for?
mirror. So, what we were looking for I wanted to get a beveled mirror that has a really thin black line on the inside and the outside of the bevel. It needed to be 36 inches wide and it needed to be 48 inches tall. That's the parameters I kind of felt like would be good for the job when I scaled it up.
Hmm.
And we found one, but it was 24 by 30. So it
Write this
was
down right
way too
now.
small.
You want to go to Glassworks, and this is a Columbus, Ohio thing. They do
Oh,
all of my
yes.
glass. You want to go to
Yep.
Glassworks and talk to Daphne there, and she'll find you your mirror. Um,
Okay.
a lot of pre-produced mirrors for bathrooms we're going to be seeing at KBIS. Everybody's wanting LED integrated mirrors.
Yeah.
So we're doing a lot of those.
Yeah. I've
Um,
done those in almost every bathroom remodel up to this one. And
yeah,
this one, I'm going to do sconces in between the mirrors. There's two and then three sconces on the
I
wall.
love that. That gives you the best light to do your makeup in. Not that I do
Yeah.
makeup.
Yeah. I have this drawing that I did on my computer. I'll have to show you.
Yeah,
Can you
neat.
see it?
Oh, I worked on that with you. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Um,
it was kind of fun to figure this out because I've got
keep
high
that
and
paper
low
out because
vanities.
I'm going to show you something in a minute.
Okay.
So, what do you want?
Sourcing. So I
We
think
don't have to
that
talk about sourcing. We can talk about whatever. What did you
I
want to
was
talk
gonna
about?
I was gonna talk about nightmare projects that weren't funny at the time, but they are now. Because I think this could be kind of an entertaining, and I can start if you want me to.
Go ahead. Go. You go first because I got to think.
Okay. So I was just starting in business. And okay, so the whole point of this podcast is of what I learned from that nightmare client issue. Okay. So I had just started my drapery workroom business, design business, and I met a lady at a fabric showroom in Columbus. And she picked the fabric and I wrote it down, and we had drapes in every room of her house. So I am at the installation, and it's the Ides of March, March 15th. And I am installing by myself. This is also at the time when OJ Simpson was on trial.
Oh, whoa.
I remember all this.
Okay.
So I am installing. I get everything all installed throughout her entire house. And she went, I had been there for like 7 hours, and she went room to room and told me everything she didn't like about every window treatment. The one thing that really got it was the fact that she said that that fabric in the living room was not what she chose. And I said, how
I
could it
had one
not?
of
I
these.
wrote it down. And I
I had
had
one of these.
nothing in writing that said that she picked that fabric, and nothing that she signed, and she knew it. So what happened was the window treatment went up and she didn't like the fabric that she picked, but she put it on me because she was a real piece of work. So I was livid, and I ended up having to have my mother come with me to the job and talk her through this because she hadn't paid me half of the money on the window treatment. So that's another thing I learned, was to get 75% of the money down.
When you're doing custom items, you should really always be getting 100% down.
I
Anything
agree.
custom.
Yeah.
And
Yep. I agree.
um,
So
did
that
you
was
like did you like the fabric that you selected?
it was real contemporary. And I said, I know this is the fabric. Danny, where'd you
Sorry,
go?
I was grabbing my smoothie.
Hey, wait,
um,
put that away. You need to have a fine design smoothie.
um, so wait, keep going.
So, yeah, so we had to go back to her house and mitigate this situation. And I ended up taking all of the window treatments down and walked out with them
So
because she would not pay the balance.
I had a
She just,
situation similar to this with a client, and I was using a high-end workroom in Columbus. I'm not going to say
okay,
it in public,
right.
but this
Wasn't me.
installation, no, it was not you. And this, I had a business partner at the time, and it was actually on him. but the client ended up selecting a white linen. And the workroom, it was like multiple issues. So the fabric happened to be from a store that's a high-end store. It's a national store, and they sell things very expensive. Well, I found the same exact thing. It was just significantly cheaper. So I thought I was saving the client money. Well, the client used that as saying, well, this isn't the fabric I chose. Well, it's the same exact fabric you chose. Honestly, it's the same exact fabric. Would not believe me. So when the installer got there to hang the drapes, we did not spec out that they should be lined. So the linen, as you know, when you have sunlight coming in, linen changes color and starts reading yellow if it's not lined.
The
So
sunlight is yellow.
yes. So the wonderful business partner that I had, never getting a business partnership, he of course blames me. I'm just executing the designs and the business side. So I'm like, this is a cheaper fabric. It's more cost effective for you. Never say the word cheaper. I always say less costly, less expensive, more
Mm-hmm.
affordable.
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't want to hear it. It wasn't the fabric he picked. So end of story, the draperies needed lined. Well, big major workroom in in Ohio, in where we're at, big major workroom who came out to measure, provided the rods and everything. They charge a fortune. They didn't make the fabric long enough. So the fabric was off of the ground by 5 inches.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm like, is this a joke?
Right.
So we had one calamity after another, but this was in my career, this would have been 20 years ago. And I
Yeah,
could tell you, once you make that mistake, you're never going to make it again. And I always tell
exactly.
people, you learn from your mistakes. So
Exactly. That's why
you're,
we're talking about
yeah,
this today.
if you're
Learn
listening to
from
this
our
as a,
mistakes.
yes, if you're listening to this from the designer side, it is okay to make a mistake. We all make mistakes. I've made
Exactly.
mistakes, and
I make
the older
mistakes
you get,
daily.
yeah, the older you get, the less mistakes you make because that gives you
Right.
experience. So don't be afraid
Right.
to make a mistake. And if you do, you have to correct it. So
Right.
that's what I learned out of doing that. But to a point that you just said, get everything in writing, log everything
Yes.
that you talk about. And I've been trying to get better than that, better with
Yeah.
that, logging everything and documenting everything. But
Right.
you're only as good as the people that you work with. So
Yes. Which brings
you
us to the next topic.
yeah. So, I mean, my installer really made a bunch of mistakes. My mistake was not telling the client that I switched the fabrics out, but I switched it out for his own good to make the price fit into the budget. But
Yeah.
still, when you're holding up fabric one, which had a backing on it, a piece of cardboard, so that doesn't let the light come through. And
Right.
then I had just had putting the sample up, it literally read yellow because it wasn't lined on the back. So you always want to line draperies. But
Hmm.
what were you going to say?
Well, I was going to lead into the next issue, the next lesson learned. don't don't hire install carpet people that drink or show up at your job site. So I hired these people and I really didn't know them. I had a big funeral home job to do in Springfield. And I hired these guys, never met them in my whole life. I just needed some installers. So I hire these guys and they show up and they back in, those barrier things, those big round barrier things. They had like one of those and they had like these handrails that goes up. So anyway, these guys go to the job the first day and they back into the barrier and it like chunks off part of the so then the customer was kind of like, geez, and she said, oh, I could smell the alcohol on him. I could smell the alcohol. Well, if you're an alcoholic, like, and you're doing a job, like you should really chew gum or something because People can
No, you
smell
shouldn't be drinking. I
it.
mean,
Exactly.
we work with the best installers now. I think both
Yes,
of us, we've
we do.
evaluated our team, and
Hmm.
that's the value. There's value in having a designer, and that value
Exactly.
is not getting a drunk contractor or
Right.
installer, but we've curated our teams these days where they work for us, and we've
Yes.
eliminated that. How long ago did
Yeah.
that happen to you?
Oh gosh, that was when Hayden was, so it was 25 years ago. And
Yeah,
then that's not the end of it. The next day they come and they back up their truck, their van again, and they hit the handrails. They hit the freaking handrails and knock those loose. So I am like so embarrassed and I am just dying because she calls me up, Melinda, your carpet people. And I was like, this is such a terrible reflection of me. Like,
I
why didn't
know.
I vet
Yeah.
these people better?
Right.
It's just
Sometimes
like,
we don't have time to vet people because people push their timelines.
yes,
And when you push things and rush things, you get what you pay for. And
that's right.
I mean, we have everything planned out and we try to get everything
Yeah.
in order before we start.
Yep.
But it's
So
very, very, very valuable to vet your contracting team
it
out
is. It is.
extensively.
Yeah. And I had a client the other day ask me, she was like, is your tile guy, is he
Oh, hold on. Why don't you tell the
extremely,
story? Go
oh
ahead.
my gosh. Yes. Is your tile guy, is he good? Is he really, really good? And I said, well, yes, I've been working with him for 20 years. I mean, I
Never had an
wouldn't be
issue.
working with the guy if he wasn't good. She
Exactly.
goes, well, I'm just worried that the tile's going to fall off the wall. And I was like, the tile in the bathroom is not going to fall off the wall.
So
So,
I've had people ask me to put tile just recently, and they want to put tile on their master bedroom wall. And I go, you can't just put tile on a wall. I go,
yeah,
that might sound like you can, but if you're putting tile on drywall, it's going to peel away from the drywall and fall off. You can do it on a backsplash or a very small area, but if you're doing
yeah,
a whole entire wall, you need cement board and it needs to be done correctly.
exactly.
So,
Exactly. Yeah,
God, um,
yeah.
why don't we've had some very interesting situations occur during COVID, and I don't know if the story is too fresh to tell or do you want me to tell it? But we've had some interesting requests from people.
You can
Um,
tell it.
I will tell it. So I know a designer that had they went to and they went to a job site with the flooring installer, and the woman or the client was so afraid of COVID that she wants the contractor to buy all new tools, all new shoes, all new buckets. He has to wear gloves and wear a mask. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And I thought for sure the tile installer would have walked off the job and been like, absolutely not, because you
Right.
can't catch COVID from a tool.
No.
Uh, so, I mean, we that's an extreme situation that I've
Yeah.
heard lately.
Yeah.
And
That was a new one that we had heard. That was funny.
I one time had a contractor that I didn't know, and I was trying him out for the first time, and one of his subs fell through the upstairs floor into the foyer.
Oh no.
And I'm like, but somehow this was all my fault. But
Oh really?
oh, it was all my
You
fault
didn't.
because I was supposed to be at the job site babysitting contractors, and I was supposed to be there the entire time, I guess. But I don't
Oh
know.
man.
I mean, our job is not to be at your house. I mean, I will definitely do that, but my
Right.
hourly rate is going to be very cost prohibitive to do that.
Right. Right.
I'd be very happy to, but I don't know where the expectation was. Like, we hire the
Yeah.
contractor's the GC, he controls his subs. And
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if this guy was
Well,
drunk or what, but this is another one that was a 20-year ago job.
yeah. I learned
And
a lot of lessons back in those days.
yeah, God,
Oh my
you
God.
should be like
I had a job.
the time warp with Danny and
Yeah.
Melinda.
So I had a job I hired. and it was a carpet job, and another one. Ugh. So anyway, it was wool, and it had a zigzag herringbone pattern. That was, so you have to cut it and then slice it together. But this particular carpet, you had to cut with the zigzag and then piece it together so it fit,
Right.
right?
Exactly.
Well, so the client had 5,000, like a 10,000 square foot home. The basement alone was 5,000 square feet, not in the 10,000 square feet, thing. So it's this monster house. And I'm like so happy that I got this job. And they ordered all of this wool carpet. So you're talking dollar
Now,
signs,
did they
right?
order it on their own or did you order it?
No, through me,
Okay.
So it was a great big job, and I was thrilled. So I told him, I said, now they need it. And it just happened to fall and Hayden was born December 12th. So
God,
it
that had to
was
be
like
30 years
right
ago.
after Hayden was born, like 3 days. And then until the beginning of January, it had to be done because they had family coming in after New Year. So these carpet installers went on the job, and they spent a day padding and everything like that. So it was like 2 days later, and they call me up. This is 3 days after Hayden was born. 3 days.
You're answering the phone in the delivery room.
Yeah. And I have one employee at the time. Melinda, we can't do this job for you, this installer. And I'm like, what? He's like, we can't do this job. I'm like, you have to cut with the herringbone. He's like, I don't know how to do it. We can't get it to look right. So I take Hayden at 3 days old, and I go to their house. And I said, not to the client's house, but to the installer's house, after hours. And I'm like, bring me a sample of the carpet, because I can't drive to Johnstown right now.
Mhm.
So they show me this sample, and they were like, we have to cut it like this and put it together, and it's not matching. And I said, well, you have to cut it like this. Well, I don't think that's going to work. And
But
I
they
said,
didn't
well,
want to
that's
do
the
the
way you
extra
have to do
labor.
it. Yeah. So the next day they call me, and they said, we've decided that we can't do this job.
And that is
And
why we now have our top 3 carpet installers that have been
yes.
vetted and we've worked with for the last 20 years, and we control them and they know how to do our jobs specifically. So you always want to know your contractors and get with them. But
Well, you know what
carpet is
these
not an easy thing to install.
guys actually ended up doing? They
What?
went snowmobiling.
Oh,
They wanted to go snowmobiling in Michigan. So they came up with this excuse. Yeah. Not
so
funny. That was not
carpet
funny.
stretching, carpet stretching is not easy because I have a bunch of
No.
our contractors. I'm like, why can't you guys just install carpet too? And they're like, Danny, you have to stretch it perfectly. It has to be done like this. And we have
Yeah.
carpet installer number 1, and he's booked out for a minimum of 6 months. We have
Yep.
carpet installer 2, and he's really good and takes care of us. And then we have
Mhm.
carpet installer 3, and we rate
Yeah.
them on those and on their skill levels.
Yep.
Um, but I've been blessed, knock on wood. Is there wood in this room somewhere? Knock on wood that we've been lucky with our carpet
With the wood
installs.
sample. Yeah.
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 Uh,
So have you ever
So,
had wallpaper fall off the wall for any clients? I had that
well, you
happen.
know my
So
wallpaper installer. So
yes.
I have had wallpaper fall off a ceiling
Oh.
because me and my wallpaper installer are very close. And I
Yeah.
call her and I go, hey, so and so, do you see any issues? Can we hang this wallpaper on the ceiling? And she goes, well, other than gravity, no, I don't see any issues. But I had to be the one to go help her. And oh my God, we got the wallpaper on the wall. There's no reason wallpaper should fall off a wall. When did this happen? Because the new glue technology, I mean, if it gets wet, you reactivate the glue and stick it up back up. What year did this happen?
Probably about 25 years ago.
So that was the old glue.
I had a rough patch.
Speaking of
So
wallpaper, Melinda just redid her office with the
yes.
truffle pattern from one of our vendors, and I think it looks amazing because I used to go
Yes.
in that office that you're in and it would make me nervous.
Yeah, I'm
But you,
excited about my office.
I
But
know I have the pattern right here.
yes, that's right.
I could tell you how
That's
many
right. I
yards you
love it. It
used.
has a little glitter to it too. So, okay,
Shimmer.
so I had a job here in London that my old wallpaper installer installed. And it was a pre-pasted paper.
Oh God.
So,
Oh God. Just stop. Nobody makes or uses pre-pasted paper anymore. And that's why it
no,
would have fallen off the wall, number one.
yeah, yeah,
And number two, the bolts are so small, I don't even think they make it anymore. And number
yeah,
three, if you're buying any kind of peel and stick wallpaper, it will not hang properly. I can
right.
guarantee you that. It is a pain in the, are we allowed to swear on here?
Yeah, it's our
We are
podcast,
we are
Danny.
a pain. It is a pain in the ass to cut and install. I could tell you,
Yes.
I've done it myself twice. It turned out the one time I did it myself was in a church in Puerto Rico that I was designing. Don't even
Oh,
ask
I
any more
remember that.
questions, but it was behind the altar. It stuck. Jesus was on my side. It stuck to the wall. It's still there. The second time I went to do it was for a friend, and I was like, this is a pain. And then I've never done it again. And my wallpaper installer was like, I won't even touch that if somebody calls me to do it. So that
Right,
peel and
right.
stick paper is a pain.
Hey,
But
we hung that peel and stick brick at the show house. Remember?
I did it.
You helped
I hung
Crystal
it.
and I. You
That's the
did.
one thing. God, I forgot about that. That was a
I
nightmare
know.
project, but we're not going to talk about that. So
Yeah.
we have a few minutes left. I hope you've enjoyed this podcast about our little designer stories. We have time for one more. I'm trying to think of a good one.
I have one really quick one. Make sure you move the lamps off of the furniture if you're moving the tables around.
Or make sure that you Velcro them down to the table so that they don't fall off. That's my designer trick because I'm guilty of doing it in my own house. I hit my favorite lamp. I was laying on the couch and I reached behind me and accidentally hit my favorite lamp and it shattered. It was a very expensive
Uh-huh.
lamp, but the trick
Yeah.
is Velcro those down.
That's a good
Um,
idea.
yeah.
I was moving a table out of the way with the lamp on it to get to the windows to do the window treatment. And the lamp goes, "Top, top, 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 top."
I have one good story and we're going to wrap this issue up.
Okay.
So we're talking about designer issues and things we've done in the past. So I had a client that wanted to rush a job.
I can't hear you, Danny. Nope. 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 I can't hear you. Nope. So we finally found a way to silence Danny. So you come in here.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, yes. There you are.
Ugh, my headset went out. So real quick, I had a client, he was rushing a project, wanted a chandelier installed before Christmas. Elisa happened to be in town during Thanksgiving. She's one of our good friends.
Uh-huh.
And the way the story goes, I had my friend who sells wine, James, hang a
Yes.
chandelier for me. And I was switching the power off, and apparently I didn't shut the power off properly. And James goes up to start working on the chandelier, and all I hear is, "Oh, Danny!" Running down the ladder. He got electrocuted. And I go, okay, the power's off now. And he goes, Danny, I'm scared. And I go,
I would be
okay, I'm
too.
telling you, it's really off. And I had to walk up the ladder and touch the wires. But that's what you get when you're rushing a job and we're installing stuff without the right people on hand. We have to
Right.
do what we can do.
I
So
know. I
that was,
know. It's
oh,
crazy.
that story was a trip. That was a trip.
One time I was drilling something into the wall and I had the bracket here and I was pushing really hard with the drill. And next thing I know, my hair gets all tied up in the drill. And I was, oh my God, because it kept getting tighter and tighter and tighter. And then
Oh, we could have a
my
show just
assistant at the
about.
time, I'm like, you gotta get my hair out of the drill because it just tied it all up. So,
God,
times, we've had some fun times.
we could go on and on about these stories, but
I know.
anyway, we're trying to be consistent with these podcasts. I'm happy we got one out to you. This is Friday. This will be up as soon as we can get it up.
Yep.
And then we're going back to design, and I'm on my way to pick up my first trailer.
Yay!
And that's going to be quite an experience, I think.
I'm gonna have to give you driving lessons.
Yes. So be doing that in about an hour. So,
all right.
Yeah.
Well, enjoy.
Anyway, you can listen to me and Melinda on 610 WTVN on iHeartRadio the first Sunday of every month at about 5:07 p.m. If you just tell your Alexa to turn on 610 WTVN on Sundays.
On the What Matters show with Mindy and Michaela.
Mindy and Michaela. And yeah, I think you can hear it on the iHeartRadio app. So
yep.
We are off to KBIS the second week of February, and we hope to see a lot of you guys there. And
then we're going to Dick.
The Design Influencers Conference. And we'll be talking about that soon. Next episode, yes. We'll be talking about that and doing some stuff with the Me Bag.
Yes.
So follow us we have a Facebook group, I think, called
TDX or the Design
Exchange, and on Instagram or the TDX podcast. I don't even know. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, and we will talk to you guys next week. Happy designing. Don't get hurt. May the odds be ever in your favor.
Yes.
Melinda, do you have anything? Add?
Learn from our mistakes and happy designing.
Yes. Happy designing.
Bye.